Well, it's taking a turn for the worst out here. The conditions are less than ideal. Well, that wasn't the plan. Oh, you can hear it here. That's awesome. That is exactly what I wanted. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Behind me is our 2018 Thor ACE 30.2 Class A gas motorhome. Today I've got a pretty exciting and interesting water system upgrade that I think some of you might be interested in. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Some of you may have a really nice wet bay where you can control everything. Some RVs do have it. Really, typically a pretty nice looking panel. A lot of Class A's have it. A lot of newer RVs have it, typically in a higher price point. A lot of older RVs do not have it. So we do not have a nice wet bay with a control panel, and that's what I want to upgrade to. Something that's cheap and easy. You can buy an entire panel, but one, you have to have a location to put it in. Two, they're not inexpensive. So I'm gonna do an inexpensive upgrade that's going to cost less than $100 or so for everything that I want to do, which includes some other things I don't have to do, but I really want to do. So first, this is where our water comes in at. I've already upgraded this to the RV guard, and this is really nice. I did another video on installing this because it has a built-in water pressure regulator, so you don't have to have the external water pressure regulator. I'm going to move this. On the other side of this wall is one of my early videos. I went to Lowe's and I got the whole house water filter. So that's also on the other side of this wall. Both of those are going to get moved down here, and I'm going to create a real wet bay. Because obviously here we have the black and gray tank waste. There's a lid down here, so the stinky slinky comes in from underneath, and then it drops down. But we have this 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 piece of metal with this Sani flush and this outdoor shower. And this outdoor shower is kind of a pain. I don't like it. Just kind of sits here like this. It leaks. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move that water inlet down here. So this is probably going to move over, and it's going to go right here. What it's going to require me is to move this back, as you can see here, a couple of inches for this. So this is just a hose trap door. So this is going to go underneath that, so the hose can come up and then do a 90 degrees right into the water inlet, right? So that's going to be down here, which is going to kind of tuck everything up nice and neat under here. So that's where my hose will go. This may stay in the same location, because now it's not going to do a 90 degrees. We got this flexi hose mount, and we got this flexi hose connector faucet. So this is probably the most expensive part of this upgrade kit. If you want to buy that RV guard intake, that might be another $50, but you don't need it to be as nice if you don't want to. So, but this obviously I could have just left this alone, right? And then right here I'm going to put the that whole house water filter. But the other items I need for this, so first I have this 90 degree T. So back here, here's the water pump, and I have another water pump I'm going to install. I'm not going to show you this. On our last trip, this water pump, the water pump that was in here before, cracked, and I had to replace it with this one. This is a 75 PSI pump that does have a pressure adjustment screw on it, but we found is when we were dry camping and with electricity only, and what we found is that when you're taking showers, this thing just turns off randomly, and you have to wait like 30 seconds and it turns back on. So I'm gonna replace it with a 45 PSI standard one, but this fitting back here is gonna go on here and tee into this is the outlet of the pump, and that is where we're gonna connect the city water. And then there is a stub out here. This little stub out goes to tees into the supply line from the freshwater tank. So this freshwater tank only has the gravity fill, and it's like 5 feet from the ground, so it's not easy to fill. So what I'm going to do is I've got this valve, and this was like a $12 valve, with Chinese lettering all over it. This is going to go on the back side of that inlet, and this, when I want to, I can just reach back here, I can turn the valve and, you know, shut whichever valve I want and use it as a fresh tank fill if we need to fill a fresh tank. So that's going to be I think a welcome addition as well. And then the last thing we're going to do is, when I move this RV guard inlet, I'm going to replace it with this. This wasn't very expensive. This is just another another fitting for that hose. So now the hose will be able to be used there with hot or cold, or just cold here. And the weird thing about this, when we use city water, the direction of flow for our water changes. So this hose tees in over here somewhere, and then right here is the water heater. For some reason, the way the water heater bypasses, and I looked in there, it doesn't look like it's been changed, it looks factory. This pressure runs backwards through the water heater, and it makes all of the faucets in the RV, the cold become hot and the hot become cold, which is a very, very interesting deal. So this is what this is going to fix what we call the butt sauna. So the toilet fills up with hot water, and then when you sit on it, your butt sweats because the water is hot in the tank. So this is going to fix the butt sauna, and that's going to be interesting. So looking at what we have here, I think based on what I have inside and what we have already, I may have everything we need. I thought I may need to take a trip or two to Lowe's, but I actually think I have everything that I need. So we're going to be able to install this pretty easily. So the first thing I need to do is take off this panel, take these off. I've already drained it. I had the water heater open. I drained them, made sure the water heater was drained. I blew air through here to hopefully get as much water out of this the whole house water filter as I can. I'm gonna put a towel under there to hopefully not make a mess under that bunk bed. And then I'm gonna take this panel off, and I've got to obviously move the flush over, and then make a hole for this RV guard. So let me get to it. We'll show you what we got in here. Like I said, I did make a video installing this, so I'm not going to show you the disassembly. If you want to go and look at changing this out and installing the water filter, you can, but you're going to see me do it right here. Yeah, actually I may need one more braided line. All right, well, I do realize that your setup is going to be completely different than mine, but for this bracket here, there's one screw here and one Phillips head screw here. I think I got to replace those because that one looks pretty rough. But then obviously two hoses on this, and one hose back here on the Sandy flush. All right, well, I've moved in the RV with the rain. I think this is going to be a pretty simple job, so I'm not going to record it, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do real quick. Here is my install in case you didn't watch the last video. Here's the inlet, runs to this water filter and then out. So all I'm going to do, I think I'm going to take these two screws out so that I can get this bracket off without taking apart the filter. I'm going to disconnect this one, and I'm going to hold it up so that it doesn't leak. And then after first step, take these two screws out. Second step, take this hose off here. This hose I'll need, and then once it's up, vertical and not leaking, then I'll take this hose here off. And well, once I install the outlet and I remove this RV guard, this will simply connect here. That's how it was before, and that's how it will be again. Well, it's taking a turn for the worst out here. The conditions are less than ideal. So it's mostly a swamp I'm working in, but I did just install this. This was a gaping hole, so I did find this is a PVC board that I actually used for repairing my boat seat, and then put this guy on there. So this one's all ready to go. Maybe I'll paint these screws later on. I got a caulk on top, but there is some good caulk on the back. I'll get back to that later as soon as this lets up a little bit. Fingers crossed. I got nothing else to do inside the RV. I just have to cut the hole for the hose and then reinstall everything. So yeah, and stand in a puddle. Getting this thing out is going to be a nightmare next week. Well, the good news is it stopped raining. The bad news, well, there's still a swamp. But on top of that, my Jeep, which I was using to work in, I think the shift linkage broke in the swamp because it's stuck in reverse. Can't start it. Can't shift the linkage. So this happened once before and I had to replace it. So it's one more thing I have zero time for. No time whatsoever. We have to take this RV. Tomorrow I drive back to North Carolina. Or I'm sorry, tomorrow I drive back to Virginia. Thursday I come back to North Carolina. I'll be back late, or Wednesday, and then Thursday morning we leave for South Carolina. So I just don't know how this is going to get fixed. But let's get back to this project, will we? It has been a fun trip so far. I did go to Lowe's, and I'll show you some of what I got. But I'm not gonna, this panel's finally put together. It's pretty easy. But this is about where it's gonna stay basically where it was before. I haven't hooked anything else up yet. Disconnected a few things, but this guy's gonna have to go here because I can't get it back any further. You see the piece there, the base of the water pump will not let this go back further. So this is going to go here. The water filter, and I'll show you once it's in, it's going to go up here vertically. I cannot, whatever's up there, I already broke a drill bit trying to drill through that, so I'm not going to keep trying to drill through it. I'm just going to go into this plastic, put 4 screws in it, and it's going to be good. And then yeah, I'll figure out how to route all these hoses. Hopefully this shorter one that I already had is long enough because I don't want to have to go back to Lowe's and get another one. But yeah, I'll route all this stuff, and then yeah, I'll figure it out because I don't want to. I think it'll be fine. I think we can power. I think we can. I have nowhere to put anything because it's all a mess. But I think we could. The water pump will be fine pressurizing. So what I've decided to do is put the T on the inlet side, right? So the water pump and the inlet are both going to go through this. On the outlet side of the water pump, I think it should be fine that the city water is going to pressurize the outlet side of the water pump. It should be fine. I think we'll be good. But I guess we'll test it here in a bit, hopefully. But let me cut that hole. I marked it. I'm going to cut the hole for that, and I'll put it in. I've got this Dremel with this rotary bit, so this should work for it. And then I'm not going to show you that. I'm just going to drill the hole, and then we'll see what it looks like when it's back in there. Well, here's my water filter set up. It's going to be tight to take this off, but I can pull it down if I have to. This hose just barely fits, so if I had a longer hose it might be a little better, but it's in there pretty snug. We'll see how it is, but so here's the T to the inlet, and here's the outlet. So this outlet here used to be connected down there, and now it's on the filter, so everything's going to be filtered now. The pump pressure comes in here, and then we'll go through, and here is what we got now. So what I picked up from Lowe's, I didn't need this this fancy valve system. All I really needed was 2 of these T's right here, and I'll try to put this T in the comments. I'll remember to drop it in there, and I could drop this in here too. What this does is you can get another T, I guess, and these are for flushing. So you can run I think they make a fitting here that goes into a tube, right? A tube for your and I guess now I can just run it right in here, but well, the tube of antifreeze, and then you can turn your pump on and it'll pull the fluid out of the jug through the little hose and into your pump there, so you can at least you know, if you don't like to put the pink, I don't like to put the pink through the whole system because it takes a while to rinse it out. Sometimes it's got a little taste to it, but at least put it in here so it doesn't crack the water pump. So what first thing you need, everything needs to be the faucet, half-inch FIP, right? So this line is going to go from here to here, so pretty simple on that one. But why I don't need this necessarily, so I got this at Lowe's. It's a faucet connector with angle stop valve. So it has, so the biggest problem was, you know, this hose right here, this one that it tees up and goes up to the freshwater tank. It's not long enough to get to, it might be long enough to get to this now, but it's not, I don't think it's long enough still because it's got to turn. So I was thinking, you know, I was gonna shark bite and put some more PEX on here or something, but then I found this, right? So I'm just gonna cut this line right behind this fitting and then slide this on and then put this on the end of here. What I did just realize, well, at Lowe's, is that with this I don't need these, because it doesn't matter if the rest of the system is pressurized. If you're not using water and you turn this valve, it's going to backfill your system. So you only need one valve technically, right? So you don't need to shut one off and turn another one on, especially if you got city water on, because the pressure will be, you know, basically negative, zeroed out in the rest of the RV, and it'll only go to where you tell it to go. So this is overkill, is what I'm saying. You probably need 2 of these though. So obviously everybody's system is going to be different, yeah, this is what it is. You know, I did put thread tape here. You see here, but here and here, and these all have rubber inserts, so they don't need thread tape. That's why I didn't thread tape here, because both of these going on here have rubber inserts. Well, here's the almost final product. The hose fits here. This is almost where it's going to go. So I think the hose is good. It fits. It looks like the door is just going to barely shut. If I make sure the screw is in a little better, I think it'll be fine. The final routing of the hoses. Here's see if I can add some light to this equation. Yeah, maybe. So here's the T. This lower one goes to basically what would be the fill for the fresh water tank, and also the supply side for the pump if you needed it. And then this one loops around, goes to the bottom of this T. I've got both of those open because I have this valve over here turned off. So the valve, the toilet sink style valve, is turned off, which again technically is the only one I needed. But you know, if you can't over-engineer it, don't engineer it. Is that a term? I don't know. Maybe it's a term. And then obviously these two, hot, cold. And then this comes from the pump, and I should probably test the pump once I fill the tank a little bit. And then we just go out to the RV. So first thing I'm gonna do is turn the water on. Everything's got to fill up. So we're gonna, and I know we've got a lot of air in the system. So with these 0G hoses, that you want to put one of these valves on here. Well, that wasn't the plan. Maybe I should try a little harder next time. There it goes. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So with these 0G hoses, just listening. Because of the way they expand, when they contract, they create pressure. So if you turn it off at the faucet and you go to disconnect it, you're gonna get sprayed. So you got to be careful there. But the hot water tank has got to fill. Everything else has got to fill. So let me hook up the our hose here. Try a little spray, and then I'll go inside and make sure it's not leaking just here on this side. But we should be good. But I'm gonna make sure. All right, well, everything inside seems to be working. So I'm gonna test my theory that I didn't need this. I only just needed 2 of these. This was only 10 bucks. I think this was close to it. So, or this one was 12. That was a cheaper one, but it didn't show up. So, not very expensive. This one, again, not too bad. You know, so far it feels good. Even if it fell, you know, it's cold. So let's see if we'll fill the tank. It feels like it's filling the tank. Let's go listen in. Oh, yeah, that's me. Oh, it's a swamp back here, guys. Let's listen. What do we think? Oh, you can hear it here. That's awesome. That is exactly what I wanted, and it's working, and I'm not holding the thing up to it. Obviously, if we're boondocking, you don't have it, but you know, if you get to potable water, you can do this and not have to worry about. Obviously, you can just cram the hose down there too, but when you pull up and you're going to dump your tanks, you want to be on this side anyway. So, man, that's awesome. Now let's see, will this close? Oh, that's cool. Not that it matters inside of the things, but yeah. All right, I'm gonna screw this in place, let this fill for a few minutes, and then we're gonna test out the pump. Well, first thing we gotta do is turn the water pump on. This is a new water pump. I'm running pressure through weird sides of it. I think it should be fine, but let's listen in. The water pump is on. It's running. I don't want it running. Let me turn off the city water connection. This thing's quiet. Ooh, is it quiet? Let's see if it pumps up the pressure. That's ridiculously crazy that it's that quiet. So I know for some of you, you may already have a full wet bay that does all these things. You can control everything. Great. That's great for you. For everyone else, for all the older RV owners, you know, our old tow behind travel trailer would probably be would have been a great candidate to do something like this with, and I think it would have been awesome. You can get almost full kits that you cut a hole in the side and goes in the side of the RV. That is an option, but those kits can be rather expensive, or they go, you know, underneath a bay somewhere and you have another door. But again, those can be pretty expensive. I think just for 2 valves and like one little setup like that was like 150 bucks or something. So not inexpensive at all. This thing's working great. The pump did finally build up pressure and turn itself off. So obviously this thing's got a prime. Priming without the what I like to do when I do turn this thing back on. So if you did this and you're gonna turn it back on, or you're just de-winterizing, hook up the hose and run the hose through all of the fittings. That way you can get all the air out, and the pump is not trying to compress air. It can just push the water, and then it builds up to that pressure. And now that we can freshwater fill like this, it's awesome. I don't have to put the little flexible thing in there that kinks and falls out and becomes a mess. And if we're at a park and we're gonna drive home and we're gonna boondock, on the way home at Cracker Barrel, we can just fill the tank up while we're still sitting there, and we don't have to worry about it. So that is great. Let's go take one last quick look at our setup here. Don't mind the tools. I'll clean up as soon as we're done. But yeah, now this is just an outdoor shower, which is going to be great because it's just cold, yes, but when the slide is out, getting to everything down here is not friendly. So we can just use this cold sprayer, spray off, put it away. That's awesome. And I don't have a random spray hose just sitting in here, and it kind of cleans this one up as well. So that's great. And then this hose fits in here nicely. We've got complete filter system as well, and let's make sure we can close the door. The door does close. That is amazing. So yeah, now this is my entire wet bay. Everything, obviously the sewer side, everything that happens right here. It's closed up and nice and neat. The hose is out of the way. Obviously it's going to go to wherever it's hooked up to, but this is what we got, and this is super exciting. So that's great. I can't wait to use it. Well guys, if you stuck around for this long, I'm guessing you need to do this to your RV. So hopefully this helps with the rain and the Jeep breaking down and everything else, and standing in 4 inches of water. To me, this felt a little bit of a disjointed, but hopefully I can make these thoughts work for you guys. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one, which will, I guess, be that, right? I'll also have a new backup camera for this, so one of those two are going to be next. But thanks for watching, guys. Catch you on the next one. Like, subscribe, the things that are free, and I'm going to clean up as it starts to rain again.